We have to start doing something and see what works.
You know, for me to see the things that are going on within my community and other places, you know, that I go, it's hurting.
In 1977, a child was born. He was born in the month of February. This child is Jose Trinidad. Another child was born several months later. This child was the brother of Jose Trinidad, and his name is Anthony Trinidad. In 1979, one more child was born, Antoinette Trinidad. The parents of these three kids are Marissa Trinidad and Jose Trinidad. My father and mother argued a lot. I think they argued because my father used to come home late drunk. I used to wake up in the middle of the night and hear them arguing. One morning she got sick of my father coming home drunk and threw him out of the apartment. He begged to stay with her, but she didn't listen, and after that, I never saw my father again. They also got a divorce. My mother worked hard. I didn't really knew that much about her or my father. She had to raise 3 children by herself. Me, my brother, and sister got along together. I remember my mother used to come from work sick almost every day. She got so sick that she decided to move in with her mother. I didn't want to move because I don't want to live with my grandmother because it's boring there.
Yo me llamo Aquilina, yo soy la abuela de José y lo estoy criando desde que tenía 8 años. Yo soy de Salinas, Puerto Rico. Yo vine aquí cuando tenía 18 años. Mi esposo vino primero y después me mandó a buscar a mí. Y aquí tuve todos mis hijos. Y aquí los criado y a la fecha estoy aquí. Ya llevo 36 años aquí. Hay veces que yo cuido a mis nietos, cuando las hijas me van a salir, cuando... Esa que la estoy cuidando ahora porque la mamá está trabajando. La hija de la mayor cosa. La niña tiene 3 meses.
Okay, I'm Damaris Andino, I'm 14. My family is from Puerto Rico, and I attend to IS 293, and I'm in 8th grade. My family, it was not that good. You know, we had problems, but we'll deal with it sometimes, but it was not that good, it was not going good. I was absent a lot in the beginning of the year. It was not that I really made me be absent, it was just me, you know, just didn't want to come to school. I didn't really like school, I was not interested in school. It was myself that made me, you know, stay out in the street, hang out, and cut out, not come to school. No, I was not up to it. I didn't want to go. I just wanted to be, you know, out in the street with my boyfriend. He was having problems also, and, you know, I helped him out. I got him back with his parents, and, you know, he been to school, you know, he's doing good. He's not in the street or nothing. He's always home, or he's usually seeing me.
It's not just education. There's a lot more when a kid leaves the school setting. In order to help a child that is Hispanic and has a lack of attendance, lack of education in itself, that kid will need individual help more so than others.
This is Red Hook, a neighborhood at the edge of South Brooklyn. It is isolated from the adjacent Cobble Hill and Carroll Gardens areas by the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway, which has created a physical and psychological border around this community. The residents of Red Hook must cross this border to get to the nearest subway station. There are 2 girls who live in the Red Hook housing projects. Their names are Robin and Stacy. They both are intelligent girls, but they both have problems in school. Robin has refused to be interviewed. Stacy, however, has agreed to respond to a few questions.
Robin was held back in 8th grade last year, but she has to get promoted this year because they said she's too old to be in the same grade again. Robin is asking because she doesn't like school. She thinks it's boring. Sometimes when she stays home, her mother knows, but her mother sends her to school when she doesn't go. Her mother thinks she's in school, but she's not. I think she just talks to her about it, but Robin does the same thing. Robin told me that she won an award for the composition, but I didn't read her poetry. She's just like me, like I'm wasting mine. She's wasting hers, her potential. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and I lived in Red Hook for 15 years in the same place. And my neighborhood is like, it's surrounded by drugs.
It seems as though the schools in the low-income areas are not up to par when it comes to dealing and educating our children. They don't have the equipment. The children are less motivated in low-income neighborhoods. And I find particularly that the teachers who teach in the low-income areas have really no interest in the children. We have a large dropout rate, yes, but it's due to low motivation. It's due to environment. It's due to lack of understanding. As a teenager in high school myself, I had problems with history because I just could not believe that there was no African Americans within history. It was always about, you know, white people, you know? And I didn't understand that, you know, and I refused to understand it. When I moved here, it was the ideal place to raise your family. But things has changed. Within the past 15 years, the building has changed tremendously. You know, it's bad when a kid has to walk down the stairs and confront someone with a needle in his arm. You know, or go outside and bullets are flying all over them. Or all you see is your young brothers and sisters prostituting or selling drugs. I was sitting outside a couple of Sundays ago. White guy walked in, big briefcase, took out the money, gave it to the kid and told him to pay the other kids off. Big old bag of cocaine and crack he had right in front of me like I wasn't there.
My mother got worse. Finally, she was sent to the hospital. We drove her to the hospital and she was banging on the window because she didn't want to go to the hospital. When I got home, my aunt was there. My grandmother couldn't afford all three of us, so my Aunt Luz took Anthony and my Aunt Rosa took my sister Antoinette. I had to stay with my grandmother, and when I heard this, I started to cry. A week later, my brother moved with Rosa. I was alone with my grandmother, and my sister had her brother Anthony. We visited my mother at the hospital. I didn't like going to the hospital because I hate the hospital. I never liked going to the hospital, and I still don't like going to the hospital. Sometimes I saw my mother, and sometimes I wait in the waiting room. As soon as the school year began, my grandmother put me in PS 38. I was in 3rd grade. I didn't have no friends the first day of school. I met a lot of friends the next day of school. The work wasn't hard for me. I was quiet in class. I did all my work. I had to go straight home from school. If I got home late, I got in trouble. There was a couple of days when I got home late from school. I got in trouble and I told my grandmother the truth, and she thought I was lying. She never believed me.
Antes era un poquito mejor, pero yo no creo que fue una buena época tampoco, porque siempre tuve problemas con los hijos. Pero ahora está mucho peor. Por eso es el miedo mío. Yo tengo miedo de que José salga solo con otros niños, porque él está muy joven todavía y no sabe ver el problema de las drogas y eso es que yo tengo miedo a las drogas, a que aprendan a usar drogas y que se junten con niños que usen drogas, o que las puedan comprar por ahí, porque a veces la venden en la calle, en todas esquinas venden drogas. Bueno, cuando yo digo que no puede ir para abajo, él se enfogona y cierra la puerta y se queda en el cuarto, pero si llora, se pone a llorar. Vea, yo me siento mal porque yo quiero que él se sienta bien, pero yo digo, no puede ir para afuera así. Si se deja llevar por las drogas, eso es un futuro malo, eso es demasiado, eso es lo peor que uno puede estar en droga, es la peor vida que uno puede llevar. Y no para ellos nomás, que para la familia también. Cuando se hacen hombres siguen igual, no tienen responsabilidad, porque todos lo quieren para la droga, usarlo en droga, no pagan renta, nada, ni mantienen a los hijos tampoco. Hay otras cosas que influyen, como la escuela, porque hay muchos niños de todas clases, hay buenos y malos, porque hay algunos que ¿ves? Son bien malos, entonces empiezan a juntarse en ganga y a fumar y a hacer cosas, ¿ves? Y entonces a veces los niños aprenden eso en las mismas escuelas. Hay muchas escuelas malas, sí. Yo he oído decir de mucho que los niños llevaban cosas a la escuela, llevaban cuchillos, llevaban revólver, droga, también en las escuelas. Los niños venden eso, pues.
After the school year, my grandmother put me in summer day camp. The day camp was in front of the building I lived in. My brother and sister also went to this day camp. My brother and sister always made fun of me because they had better clothes and sneakers, and they still do. Every place I go, there's always some kid who makes fun of me, and I always end up crying. Then they start saying sorry. I think if most of the kids knew what I went through, they wouldn't make fun of me. I wonder why I have so many problems. The last day of camp, they gave awards. I got a lot. I was happy until I got upstairs. My Aunt Evelyn was there. Me, Anthony, and Antoinette found out that our mother died. She went through a lot. She died in my room. She kept on going to the hospital and coming out. My mother's birthday is February 2nd, and my birthday is February 4th. We used to celebrate our birthdays together.
Since I started in IS 93, I've been doing good. I'm coming to school, and I like school more often than I used to like last year. And my attendance and my grades gone up a lot, and I like staying home more often than I used to, and I don't like going out that much. Well, I really think what made me change is because I got left back last year. That's what made me change, and and then I got into the program, CrossFit program, and Miss Rodriguez, she helped me out a lot. That's what really made me change.
I feel that Damara's attendance and performance during the school year has changed tremendously due to the fact that there have been different programs that she has gone to, and they have helped a lot. The figures show us that Hispanics are in the bottom pole. Their percentage is very low in terms of graduation, and we have to educate them, give them different programs, give them an extra, I believe, than any other ethnic group. Maybe this will help. We don't know, but we won't find out until we do try. In a case of the Miris Andino, it has helped. That I myself was in in the ghettos, I guess you could say. I was born and raised in Bedford-Stuyvesant, and I saw a future for myself, and I said I could do better, and I always strive, and in the back of myself, in my head, I always say thanks to those teachers who did help me. I personally believe that as a school, as a staff, should be well balanced. In other words, if you're going to measure it in percentage of 100%, have 25% black, 25% Hispanic, 25% Chinese, or whatever. Have a good balance in the staff. Because kids, they identify, with the teachers. So culture is a strong point in the welfare system. The Hispanic also has a big figure that they're in that structure, that cycle, which I call, which also has to be changed. And the best way to change any of these cycles is through education, not just for our kids, but for the parents, and to let them see that there is another way. You will speak to a Hispanic person, which I have, and they will tell you, why should I go out and get a job for $3.25 when the welfare is providing me with Medicaid, providing me with food stamp, is providing me with a home and shelter. And inside, you can't really argue that point, but the way the structure is built is that they'll stay in that cycle. And if they stay in that cycle, that means they are not coming out and they're not getting educated.
No, I never had problems with attendance, like in elementary, only recently in junior high school. It just recently started this year, not last year. But I don't like to go this year. My mother always, she pressures me and telling me to go to school all the time, but I still don't like going. She just keeps complaining about the future, and I always tell her, I'm not even thinking about the future. I just don't want to go to school. I know I need it, but I just don't want it. I don't like school. I know I need schooling to learn, but I just don't like it. The day goes by so slow, and it's so boring. I don't like sitting in class all day long. I like walking in the hallways, but not going to class.
I believe that if children had more knowledge of the struggle in the 60s and beyond, that they would change and the struggle would be worthwhile. They don't know how hard the struggle was. They're not being taught it at home, nor are they being taught it in schools. There was restaurants we could not eat at. It was certain water fountains that we could not drink out of. Certain stores that you could not go into. Right now, today, I see that basically happening, all over again. I look at the Hawkins kid not being able to walk through a neighborhood. That's just like telling me you can't come into my restaurant or we don't want you into our store. The gap that was broken within the civil rights movement then and now, drugs. Drugs are destroying a lot of families and a lot of lives. It's destroying it. It's taking our children away from us, The youths now who are being incarcerated, being killed, and selling crack was the generation who was supposed to keep the struggle going on. But they're lost. I'm afraid for them here. I'm really afraid, to the point where it's making me sick. I am afraid for my child to play outside. My son is 13 years old, and I still have to sit out with him to watch him. There's so much going on. We have shootings in the area. Several children has gotten shot in front of the buildings. It's too many ills out here, too many temptations. It's too many temptations. People are not struggling and striving for what they want. Now, you don't have to. There's too many illegal things that you can do to make the fast money. We're living in a low-income neighborhood. A lot of families have been liking some of the better things in life. So they fuss for a while with their children about doing it, but once they keep dropping the money in their hands, you know, they just turn the deaf ear. They go blind on it.
Some Hispanics, you know, they think that school is too much trouble for them, waking up early in the morning, and some subjects are very boring, which is true. That's the way I see it. And they just like, you know, hanging out, staying out in the street. And the kids that I know, you know, some kids probably won't make it because there's this guy that I know, right? He was in the 9th grade and he's 16. And I guess he probably got sick and tired of school and he dropped out of school. When he went out to high school, he dropped out and he don't have a good future for himself. If I have the chance, you know, to speak to some of the kids or something, you know, I would tell them stay in school because that's the best thing for them, get their education and become somebody, you know, become what they really want to be when they're older and get a good job, you know, what they want to become, you know, to become and stay in school, graduate up to 12th grade, get your diploma. If it's possible, if you could afford to go to college. When I be older, I want to, you know, own my own store. You know, I want to, you know, sell fashion clothes. You know, I like working a lot with clothes. I like fashion.
The students that have lack of attendance, their future, I see them very grim, unfortunately. I would say if you're going to put in a scale from 1 to 100, 99% will take the wrong road. And unfortunately, the lack of attendance, I feel, would either put them in jail at the end, or they'll do mischief things and get killed, unfortunately. Or they will grow up and it will become a whole cycle within the welfare system. We have to start doing something and see what works. The thing is that if we could get different companies, business-wise, big companies, I'm talking about IBM, AT&T. AT&T will come into the classroom and they'll say, look, this is what we have. These are the educational courses that one would need. And show kids the reality of education. But if we could get these companies and we could show them, hey, look what's happening with our figures. You guys, these are your workers for tomorrow. If we don't do something for them today, your company is going to go down.
I don't want to graduate. It's so boring just to sit in the auditorium and listen to everybody talk and talk when I could be outside with my friends, so I don't want to graduate. My counselor told me that I have to stay in 8th grade until my first report card. If my grades are high enough, that I can go to 9th grade. If I fail a couple of classes, I have to stay in the 8th grade. I'm aware of the problem of dropouts, but maybe I'll change in the future.
I think parents should take more control of knowing what their children are doing, you know. If you're a next-door neighbor and your neighbor across the street and the neighbor down the block knows and sees what your child is doing, you should know. I believe that if the parents took the time to go and be within the public schools to see what's going on and not ask but demand that their children get the proper education and be taught their heritage, I believe that the school system would turn around. I think as a parent, we have the right to be within the public schools. I feel that if they would have programs set up where the children and teachers and parents could speak on the problems that are within our neighborhoods, within our homes somewhat, and to get a better understanding of what's going on, I think that it would help a lot. Psychologically, it's really bothering me. I have to leave from here in order to keep my sanity. I really have to go.
My friends mean a lot to me. If I didn't have any friends, I wouldn't have nobody to play with or talk to. Most of the time I feel like I have no friends because they always make fun of me. I only saw my friends at school because I couldn't go outside. I couldn't have my friends come over to my apartment. I couldn't even call my friends. When I got from school, I stayed home all day watching TV.
A mí me gusta, bueno, a mí me gusta vivir aquí. No digo que no me gusta porque yo crié a mis hijos aquí. No me gusta, pero ya últimamente se ha puesto muy malo y por eso que yo quiero mudarme a ver si la cosa sigue mejor en otro sitio. Me quiero ir a Filadelfia por muchas cosas, porque aquí la renta es muy cara. Si me mudo de aquí, ¿dónde voy a conseguir un apartamento más o menos de 200 pesos, 250? Aquí no se puede, entonces allá lo puedo conseguir. Y por José, para que lleve una vida, a ver si ve una vida más, que pueda salir y venir y sin muchos problemas.
I talked a lot in school because I have nobody to talk to at home. I started a story named The War Against the Aliens, just for the fun of it, and a lot of kids liked it, so I continued writing that story. I made myself a hero. I made another story named Jose the King. I started to write more. I spent 3 years in PS 38. I went to another school called IS 293. I was scared that first day. I didn't like the school at first. I was in crossroad program. They took me on trips and helped me with my problems. Now I could go outside.
To listen to a child, if they're full of ideas, they have ideas that you could incorporate in your own educational plans.
I don't foresee anything good coming out of this epidemic unless we as parents stick together and fight it.